This is the CBS Morning News, and we are just 4 days away from Election Day, and candidates are making their final sprint to the finish line. Both Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump hit the Sun Belt yesterday, but with very different messages. At campaign rallies, Harris continued her message of unity. She courted Latino voters and pushed back on Trump's economic proposals, which experts suggest would make inflation worse. Harris also hammered Trump on comments he made about women Wednesday, while driving home her stance on reproductive rights.
Now, in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban, many with no exceptions, even for rape and incest, which is immoral. And Donald Trump's not done. Did everyone hear what he just said yesterday? That he will do what he wants, quote, and here's where I'm going to quote, whether the women like it or not. You know, there's a saying that you got to listen to people when they tell you who you are, who they are. And this is not the first time he has told us who he is. He does not believe women should have the agency and authority to make decisions about their own bodies.
Meantime, Trump was doing his own campaigning out west yesterday, where he too seeks to gain support from Latino voters there. His campaign is still trying to rebound from criticism over comments made about Puerto Rico by a comedian at his Madison Square Garden event last weekend. Now, Trump yesterday played to his base by insulting the vice president and focusing on immigration and the economy.
I happen to think that the border is the single biggest issue. I think the border is a bigger issue than inflation. Inflation is destroying, and it's a country buster. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. We will bring back our economy, and very simply, I will make America affordable again, because it's not affordable. You wouldn't put Kamala in charge of literally a kindergarten class. You wouldn't. So at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, can you afford to put someone that's grossly incompetent in charge of the future of our country? I don't think so.
For more on the Trump campaign, we cross now to Libby Cathey. She is in Asheville, North Carolina. Libby, Trump attended an event with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, where he hurled insults at former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has endorsed VP Harris's campaign. And he used some pretty harsh words, even seemed to suggest guns should be pointed at her. Let's just play that so our viewers know what we're talking about.
His daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
That sounds like violent rhetoric. What is the Trump campaign saying about that?
Yeah, good morning, Errol. The Trump campaign so far not cleaning up this comment from the former president, which, as you said, seemingly encouraging violence against former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Now, rhetoric like this appeals directly to some in Trump's base. This might motivate them. You know, this has been a rallying cry against Liz Cheney since she joined the January 6th Select Committee. But Democrats hoping that this will now hurt Trump this morning with 4 days to go. It coming as he's been struggling with women voters. You know, we've talked about the largest gender gap we've seen in this election in modern history. So Democrats really hoping comments like this from the former president might discourage Republicans who are thinking about voting for him, who are disillusioned with January 6th, who might have been looking for a reason to vote for the former president. Maybe this gives them a reason to sit at home. Liz Cheney herself responding this morning, too, I will say, she tweeted and said, "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom to a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant." That is what Liz Cheney is saying this morning against those seemingly death threat against her life that Trump floated last night in Arizona. The Trump campaign so far not expanding on it, but I'm sure they will be asked about that today, Errol.
And I'm glad you mentioned the gender gap between the two candidates, because the Trump campaign, officially anyway, has been trying to court women with a message of protecting their rights. How does this square with that? Or what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, Democrats also pouncing on those comments, too. You know, Trump has called himself a protector of women, but a couple of days ago he said, I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not. Kamala Harris saying those comments are offensive, that Trump doesn't respect women. So really trying to capitalize on this gender gap, while Trump and his campaign in the past couple of days have tried to put out the women that are with the president. This comes after comments from Mark Cuban, actually a surrogate for the Kamala Harris campaign, questioning, are there intelligent women around Trump? And the Trump campaign taking high offense to that, putting those women out front. His co-campaign manager, Susie Wiles, a rare tweet from her yesterday defending the former president. So while you do see the former president saying comments that Democrats, others, women may find offensive, the Trump campaign and the women on those in that campaign defending the former president till the end here with 4 days to go. Errol.
That's right. The election is already here. Libby Cathey, thanks for waking up with us. Appreciate the report. We want to cross now to Shawna Mizelle. She is following the Harris campaign for us this morning, joining us from Detroit. Shawna, we heard a few moments ago that Harris had remarks about Trump's comments on women. How is the Harris campaign trying to seize on this, considering in swing states it's split? The polling is just about even, and she's failed to really, run away with support in swing states.
Errol, good morning. That's absolutely right. The Harris campaign quickly moving to seize on these comments by former President Donald Trump. You had Kamala Harris saying that former President Donald Trump does not trust women about their own bodies and their own autonomy. She said this in her rally in Las Vegas just last night. You also had her running mate, Tim Walz, out on the campaign trail talking about this as well. And when Walz mentioned this, he actually brought up that Access Hollywood tape, that famous tape that came about in the 2016 election. But the question is, will any of this actually sway voters? Abortion has been a top issue. Women's rights and reproductive rights has been an issue that the Harris campaign has talked a lot about. It's also on the ballots in a lot of those swing states that you mentioned. We'll see it on the ballot in Arizona, in Nevada, states like that. But there's already been so many ballots cast. There's been a record number of early voting so far. So the question is, just what impact will this actually have?
We did hear VP Harris say she disagrees with criticizing people based on who they vote for, in reference to President Biden seeming to call Trump supporters garbage. Has that been a problem for Harris in both trying to take credit for the Biden administration's accomplishments, but also trying to distance herself enough to win over new voters?
Certainly so. I think when we first saw Harris getting out there doing those major interviews, she was asked just how she would differentiate from President Biden on policy, and she really wasn't able to formulate an answer on that until recently. And so that has been an issue for her. And in her campaign, while trying to reach out and broaden her Democratic base, she's also tried to reach out to conservatives. She's tried to reach out to Republicans, as you all just mentioned. Liz Cheney, a Republican, has been out on the campaign trail stumping for Kamala Harris.
All right, Shawna Mizelle, we appreciate you waking up with us as well. Thank you. And an invitation for you all to stay with CBS News for all-day coverage on Election Day. We'll bring you live reports from our election quarters here in New York and from our teams across the country and in the special swing states, battleground states. Special coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern right here on CBS News 24/7.